What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Internet Capitalist Podcast with Luke Kish, where we talk about mindsets, experiences, and frameworks that will help you have fun, get rich, build cool shit, and positively impact the world. I am your host, Luke Kish, and welcome to episode number 29 of the podcast, all about income generation versus investing. Okay, I am a believer that producing income is extremely important to do, because without the ability to produce a big pile of money, whether that's through active income sustained over time at a large level that is then used to invest, or building a company that you sell for a ton of money and use the active income to build the money, to build the company, to then sell for a ton of money, real wealth is hard to attain. I know there's a lot of people out there who listen to these popular fucking Instagram accounts that's like, here's how you should max out your Roth IRA, and here's how you should, save one of your $6 extra every single month. And I think that these people are clueless. I think that they're idiots. I think that it's in theory, a sound argument, but I believe that the intent is good, but I believe that the overall outcome or byproduct of this is just shit thinking. I think we live in a world today where you need to increase the amount that you earn. You need to use all of your money on increasing the amount that you can earn to then invest. Right. And it's not oh, you're not investing. No, it's you are investing. You're investing in your earning potential, which is the single biggest leverage thing that you can do. Right. So say, you have me, I make more than $1 million a year in income. I'm not going to specify exactly how much I make, but it's quite a bit more than $1 million. Say it's just 1 million for a round number. And you have some guy who makes 75 grand, and this dude, saves his fucking nuts off. He's the smartest guy in the world with money. He maxes his 401ks. He uses the IRAs. He does all of this shit. He just puts money aside, hoping that it's going to grow. Meanwhile, I'm over here. I could put all of that money aside easily that he does in 5 or 6 years immediately. I have more of it in the bank than he does. And then I also have the ability to earn more, right? I can take the $1 million in income and then say, okay, here, how can I make myself able to earn even more income? And you can kind of just see, you can extrapolate out what's a better strategy. In my opinion, go build your fucking income. We live in a world today where you can make a lot of income. You can build a huge income, and you can use that money to increase the amount of income that you make. Rich people don't get rich by taking a little bit of a little bit and investing it in places. They get rich by creating a lot first, and then through creating a lot can then put things in a bunch of different places, right? So, I think unwealthy people, or say middle class and then lower class people, look at rich people, and there's this thing that rich people are diverse across a lot of different things, because in hindsight, I think it often looks like that. But if you inspect how rich people got to being very rich, typically it's by going deep in one area or one thing, right? You look at Warren Buffett. His positions are all very concentrated, and all he's in is money, right? Money stocks, right? That's where that guy exists. He doesn't, go try and build businesses. He just invests in businesses, right? He doesn't try and go, sell houses, right? He owns the banks that own the houses, right? So he's only doing the thing he's really good at, and he's gone so heavily into it. And then even within what he's very good at, he's very concentrated amongst certain individual things. Or, take another person who's got now 5 houses, 20 million in stocks, a maxed out 401k or whatever, and, cash flowing real estate, apartment complexes, 20 million in cash. You're like, okay, this person must have just put a little bit across all of these things over long periods of time until he got that thing. No, this person likely had one thing that they absolutely crushed ass in, to the point where there was so much surplus and so much excess that it would be ridiculous to not to begin to diversify, right? Create so much extra cash that, and so much wealth through some sort of either sale event or just a massive cash flow, that then doing all of these things becomes a lot easier, right? It's like, okay, yeah, let's buy, 4 million of the S&P 500 over the next, 5 years or whatever it is, right? Because we have this big income, because we had this big sale event. So I think it's a misconception that you diversify to get rich. I think in hindsight, rich people look diversified. So, I agree. You look at very rich people, typically they're diverse. They have real estate, they have this, they have that, they have that. But to get to that point, I think they went in on a thing. Here's my personal investment strategy and the thing that makes the most sense to me. And I have, lost money in investments, and I've had some investments go good. For example, my business started with $4,000. I put in 2,000, Nikki put in 2,000, and we're approaching $25 million in revenue. It's kicked off, millions and millions in income. Where else am I going to make $4,000 turn into that much money? I don't know. Right. So my shtick is business. I think, in my thesis, is that the money that you have should sit in proportion with the areas of expertise and understanding that you have. Meaning, because 85% of my skill set, my expertise is in growing internet businesses, I want to keep 85% of my money in growing internet businesses. That makes a lot of sense to me. And people will be like, oh, well, that sounds risky. How? I understand it. What is less risky than me betting on me? I have control over me in an area where I have the most understanding and experience. What is less risky than that? Nothing, right? Yeah, I can buy the market, and that's like one of the other things that I do, but 85% until I'm at that point of massive surplus is going to me in my level of comprehension, right? Or maybe you're a real estate person. Maybe 90% of what you know is real estate, is buying real estate, or is buying multifamily, or is selling homes. Then all of your money should go to facilitate in selling more homes or buying more multifamily and real estate. And then you have control over you, right? Versus, last year I did some silly shit where I'm like, oh, let me just buy these companies. And then what do you have to do? You have to really just be lucky, because the person running that company is a person running a company. I'd rather bet on me. I have control over me. I don't know if, what somebody else is going to do or not do. I don't know the behind the scenes of anything other than I know the behind the scenes of me. Say you're a stock person. All you do all day is read about stocks and pick stocks and try and do stocks. And 85% of what you know is in stocks. And you've proven that you understand and have unique advantages in stocks. Then your money should follow that. I think we get fucked up because someone's like, oh, crypto, oh, stocks, oh, real estate. And then you look around and you're just like, oh, okay, this is working for somebody. I should go do this. No. You should put your money in what the fuck you understand and in what you have a unique advantage in. You shouldn't just look around and say, oh, because Joe and Schmo and Doe are doing this, I should do this. And I think if you think that through, it's a pretty good, sound, reasonable argument. The amount of money you have should be in different areas, should be in proportion with the expertise, knowledge, understanding, and unique advantage that you have. If you have all unique advantage in one area, put your money in that area, build the unique advantage, make the money grow in that area, and reach a point where, I can put a few $100,000 in the stock market every year without thinking about it, right? And it doesn't take away from anything that I'm working on. Why? Because I've built my capacity and my surplus by using most of the money that I have to make more money in the area that I really understand and have a unique advantage in. So this is a huge misconception. People fuck this up. They look at rich people and they say, oh, this person got their, they're diversified, they're rich. No, that is how it looks in hindsight. But if you actually survey how they achieved the point where they look really wealthy and diversified across multiple different things, they went deep in one area and just crushed it, right? Just built deep and big in one area and won. This whole, let me take a little bit of a little bit as a strategy is not a good strategy, in my opinion. My opinion is let's turn a little bit into a lot somewhere first, where I have control and I have an advantage and where I'm going to apply myself and where I can dictate some of the outcome. Let me go hard there, as hard as I can, so that I turn that little bit into some, and then I turn some into more, and then I turn more into a lot. And along the way, as I'm earning more and my capacity to produce goes up, I take some of it and siphon it off into, buying the whole market or whatever risk-free thing you want to do, or relatively low risk thing you want to do, to start preserving money in a way where it's much more guaranteed, right? Because for real wealthy people, the strategy is not like, oh, I need to make $1 gazillion with my investments. The strategy is I need to not lose my money in my investments. And I need to go for a real calm, slow thing that I know is not going to go to zero. It's a completely different way of thinking versus other people like, oh, I need all my investments to make all my money. No. You need to align your money with your skill sets, your understanding, and your unique advantages. Grow your skill sets, understanding, unique advantages. Use the money to grow the ability to produce in that area, produce a ton of it, and then don't lose it. And that's how you're investing, right? Don't put it in places where it's going to go to zero. Put it in places where it's going to be there or a little bit more over time, and just continue to learn how to grow more in your area of expertise. So huge misconception. People fuck it up. There's all these like 20-year-olds and like 27 and even 30-year-olds that have like sub $5 million net worths that are like, oh, just take a little bit of your little bit of money and put it in this thing over, 500 fucking years, and you're going to have $1 million when you're 7 years old and about to die. It's like, okay, good strategy. $1 million and, that time it's going to be worth fucking nothing. And you couldn't live an enjoyable life the entire way because you had no extra income. I think it's just a big paradigm shift that needs to happen around there. Stop thinking about investing and like fucking all of this dumb shit until you're able to earn some money. Don't think about investing outside of yourself. It's still investing. It's just investing more wisely. Invest in your ability to produce. Don't overlook yourself as a unit of production. If you want a full episode, by the way, on how to look at yourself and increase yourself as a unit of output in your life, because you are your biggest fucking output in your life, and you always will be. Go look for the podcast. It's episode number, let me see. Fuck is it? It's called Increasing Yourself as a Unit of Output. I think it's episode number what is that thing called? Buzzsprout. It's episode number 18, Increasing Your Personal Output, episode 18 on the podcast. I go deep on increasing your ability to personally produce and become a unit of output that earns more. So that's the best investment, 100%, without question, bar none. Rich people become rich by putting their money in alignment with where they're uniquely advantaged and have skills and understanding and control. They go deep in that area until themselves as a unit of output, imposing their will and their control over the area of understanding that they have, gets to a production amount of surplus and far greater than anybody who never increases the income producing capacity could ever imagine who's just, making a little bit of money and taking a little bit and putting a little bit of a little bit into something that grows a little bit. Like, that's not the way wealthy people get wealthy. That's a total fucking false lie. Like, yeah, maybe you'll have $1 million or $2 million or $3 million in 30 years, but you can just go make $1 million in, like, within 5 years. You can be making $1 million a year if you just apply yourself in one area, without question. So hope this helped. If it did, share it with any friends. I don't run any ads on this podcast. All I ask is, if this was helpful, you please share it with any friend you think it would also be helpful for. That would mean the world to me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being internet capitalists, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode. Thanks. Bye.